High-Frequency Radio.
Astronauts to the moon.
Ten, 9, ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Not to get off track here, but I feel like we're in the Truman Show, and we're in a snow globe, and we just shook it up.
Welcome to reality.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Jeranism Monday Night Raw, the current reigning and defending and unarguably the number one show on True Frequency Radio on Monday nights between the hours of 6 and 8 p.m. Pacific. That's 9 to 11 Eastern. I'm your host, Jeran from Jeranism, and joining me, as he always does, is the great and powerful, the man with the plan, David Weiss. David, are you there?
I'm here. You know what I was thinking just before as we're getting ready for the show was, this is the one. Oh. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I thought maybe you were thinking, where's Jeran?
This is the one time that I know Jeran always shows up. It's like, when we're supposed to talk, it's like you never know if you're going to be there. You're a tough guy to reach. This is the one time that he's always on time. And literally, you called me 3 seconds before you finished your intro.
Yeah, you know why? I'm having some sort of issue here. First, I was logged in through Google Chrome like I always am, and it said you have an unsupported browser, and it wouldn't let me log into the show. So I was having trouble with that. Now I downloaded Firefox real quickly, logged in. It looks like it's working. It looks like the call board's working. And can everybody hear us? I guess I don't know how they can answer that. But if you can hear us, then we're good. You can hear me, Dave?
I can hear you. Nobody seems to be live streaming it, but that's okay.
Right. That's okay. Well, you say, what does this thing say? I don't want to do that right now. So I'm getting all these warnings from Firefox. All right. Well, I guess we're on the show. So sorry about that, everybody, but I guess I was on time, but not for David. David usually expects a call 2 minutes ago. How dare me? Hey, also joining us this evening is, if you want to go through a throwback episode, if you want, joining us as she always did before and hasn't done in about 9 months. And the reason for that is not what usually the reason would be if somebody's missing from something for 9 months, but is the great and powerful Missa Amazing. Missa, are you there?
I'm here.
Dave, can you hear Missa?
I can hear Missa.
All right. Great. Welcome back to the show, Missa. How are you?
I'm doing great. Feels good to be here.
Feels good to be back. All right. Awesome. Missa's been busy working for DoorDash, right?
Yep.
How's that going?
It's going great.
Good. And
really
we just got back. We're a little bit tired, a little run down. We just got back from our trip down to the Salton Sea. Did you have a good time?
I did. I got a lot of sun.
Yeah, it's very hot. I'm definitely burnt. Her shoulders look like, you definitely look
cooked
like you're
chicken.
A Pacific Asianer. Yes.
Oh.
Cooked chicken, huh?
Back to my roots.
Yeah, back to your
racist.
It is a little bit. It is, but it's okay when your wife's Filipino. You can actually make Filipino racist jokes. You didn't know that? It is allowed. So we had a 8-hour journey. Well, it was supposed to be 7 hours, but they closed down the 99 for some dumb reason in the middle of the night. So we didn't get back to a little bit after 1 last night, and then today it's got to be 100 degrees today, isn't it?
Yeah, feels like it.
Yeah, it feels like it's just ridiculous heat today. So we're a little run down, but we're here nonetheless, and we had a good time. So thank you to everyone who went down there and joined us, especially the Flat Reality Earth Explorers, which is Wendell and Nathan and Sydney who were down there. Also, big shout out to Dan.
Which Nathan?
Do I know his last name? Gonzalez?
Okay, another Nathan in Flat Earth.
Right, he's the one that's part of that Flat Reality Earth Explorers. They've got a YouTube channel. You can check it out at Flat Reality Earth Explorers, just as it sounds. And, they're part of that team that's done the Monterey Bay mirror observation. They've also gone down to Salton Sea and done it a few times. They were there for that independent investigations group and Nat Geo when they were down at Salton Sea. So they've done a lot of good work, and they were down there again, so it was awesome to see them. Awesome to see Dan the Waterman again, so big shout out to him. Alex, Brooke, Trying to remember who else we saw out there. A lot of good people. Some people, Dave, for the first time I saw somebody wearing one of my shirts.
Mm-hmm.
Not just one person. Actually, I saw a person wearing one of my design shirts that said, you can tell it's real because it looks so fake. That was Alex wearing that. But Brooke actually had a Jeranism shirt. It was amazing. It was pretty awesome. So something I didn't expect. Oh, it looks like we do have a phone call. Let me just check and make sure this works. Let's go quickly and early to the 905. You're on with Jeranism.
Who could that be?
I have no idea. Let's just check it out. Who's this?
It's some guy in Canada.
Never heard from you before. How's it going?
No, first time caller, long time listener.
I think you got
course.
the other way around, probably.
Challenge.
I'm calling bullshit.
Yeah, I totally agree. But Jeran, you're Salton Sea. That the day before,
It's
it
not
was
my Salton Sea.
perfect. Oh my!
Oh, I thought you said it's my
But
Salton.
your observations,
Yeah, no, we're
the
gonna
observations from that pretest, it was
beautiful, huh?
For those of you that are wondering what happened and don't want to wait for us to go through it, basically, Jeran proved curvature again.
Another
Okay.
time, yeah. If you ask the independent investigations group who was out there, Missa was talking to. Who are you talking to? What's his name?
What do you mean? Which day? First day?
No, the guy from the independent investigations group. So
Oh,
that was day 2.
Spencer?
Spencer is his name.
Spencer.
Right. Missa and him got into it pretty good, but he just said, "Well, you guys don't want to learn because if you just look out here, you can see right there. There's, the curvature's right there. This is why we're not able to see to the other side." And we're like, "Dude, were you here yesterday?
Yeah.
The day before we were seeing mirror flashes from 13 miles. And again, that first day, we weren't even trying to do any tests. That wasn't even the plan. The plan was to go there and scout each location, which we did, which was, it's quite fun. You have to go from one location, and you got to drive 15 minutes to the next, and then drive another half hour to the next, and kind of rotate your way around that Salton Sea, which is quite large, 31 miles in length and about 10 miles across. But we did all that on Thursday, and then we just went back and said, well, let's try and do Saturday. We went back and tried to do some mirror observations, had some great results, and we're excited about the next day. Said, all right, here we go. And then the next day, right when we got there, which was 5:30. Yeah, right when we got there, we looked across the water, and right away we saw that inferior mirage. Everything across the shore was doubling up on itself. So
That was 5:30 a.m. by the way.
5:30 a.m. Yeah,
Yeah.
which was crazy because I thought the best time to go was the morning. I thought that that's when you would have the least inferior mirage, the least refraction, whatever you want to call that. But actually, as the day went on Sunday, it got less and less and less. So that's totally new to me. I thought that it would be the other way around. I thought you'd get there early in the morning and you wouldn't see that kind of mirror reflection. But no, we were completely wrong. So did you see the live stream then on Saturday, Brian?
Oh yeah. I was watching while I was working, so I couldn't be in the chat. But it's like going to Antarctica. You can't go to Antarctica without filing a plan and stuff. So they're gonna know where you're going, and they're gonna possibly screw things up with the weather because,
Oh man,
in my personal opinion, weather is manufactured and not.
you'd be afraid.
I'll go there.
Dave says the same thing. Dave's going there too. Dave says there's a mirror, an inferior mirage
machine.
maker. Yeah.
Hey, Brian, are you not
Yeah.
live streaming today?
Yeah.
Just quick.
My it says I'm live streaming, but
Oh, you are live streaming. I didn't get a
I don't.
notification. Okay, never mind. I didn't get a
Yeah.
notification. So.
Screw the bell.
Hey,
But
Darren, I think that you guys actually have a successful trip because the fact that you were able to do mirror flashes one day and not the next day, even at a shorter distance, proves that there is another explanation than curvature.
Yeah.
That when you can't see something, it's because of changing conditions. Unless you believe that the Earth is flexing its diameter, then there's another explanation. So I think that's a huge success.
I agree.
No, it was a success. I think it was great to get everybody together. Obviously, I like that part of it. And we had excellent results, and I'm just waiting because the only difference is I really wanted to be on the observation side. And real quick, before we get into it too much more, Brian, did you have any other comments about today's show before I let you go?
I've got a few. If you're willing, otherwise I can call back, like in the second hour.
All right, call back in the second
That's
hour.
totally cool.
But I do appreciate you calling in. Just so
Yeah,
I can
you got it, guys.
I make sure that this. Thanks so much. Just
Thanks,
making sure thanks so much. That the call board is working, so we can take calls. We'll take calls as we always do during the second hour. And that phone number, if you want to get in line now, is 213-233-3998. Again, 213-233-3998. If you have questions, comments, if you want to tell David how strongly you're on Team Jeran, or what did you guys call it on the Flat Earth podcast? Campanella?
Campanella.
I like that. It's pretty good. Yeah. So thank you, Brian, by the way, very much for that call. So anyway, so what we did is we went down to the Salton Sea, as I was saying, and I wanted to be on the observer side, and that's the way we kind of set it all up, and that's the way it was going to work on Sunday. But by the time the sun was setting on Saturday, I was on the side that needed to be the mirror if we were going to do anything. And so I said, okay, well, I'll go flash the mirror and see if they can pick it up. And they actually went past Capri Road. They went to Salton City, if you want to look on Google Earth and draw that up. But that was about, I think it's 13 miles. I haven't looked at it. I heard some people saying it was only 12. I'll have to take a look at it to make sure. But at least as far as I could tell on Google Earth from my phone, it was 13 miles. Anyway, they were at Salton City. We were over at the Salton Sea Rec area. I was flashing the mirror, and I was right at the water. I was standing up with the mirror at about my stomach or chest area, kind of flashing over there. They had the camera 3 feet above the water line, and were picking up my mirror flashes. Quite easy. So we had high hopes for the next day. You know, we were really stoked. We said, oh, man, if you're seeing this, this is going to be great. You know, I can't wait, because that clearly, if you do the math real quick. Oh, by the way, speaking of exciting things, Dave, did you see the change that was made? Well, there was 2 changes, but did you see the most recent change to the Metabunk curve calculator?
They're moving the globe post again.
It's hilarious. So if people don't know, I did a video the other day. I think it's called, Salton Sea Mirror Observation. So it was just kind of a pre-talk. I had Wendell on from Flat Reality Earth Explorers. We were talking about it. And I pointed out that formerly on that Metabunk curve calculator, there was a bulge height. So you could put in your distance, you could put in your observer height, and you would get this bulge, which I think is the most glaring problem with the globe model. I don't think there's any bulge between 2 people standing from shore to shore. We're able to see laser shots. Go ahead.
Let me ask you a quick question, just to clarify for other people. So if you're always standing at the top of a ball, and if something is at X distance and the drop is 20 feet, the bulge is 10 feet. Is that correct?
It's not always half, no.
Oh, it could be more than half? Less than half?
It just varies. It's actually you take the chord distance, which if you look at a circle and you put 2 dots on that perimeter of that circle and you draw a chord, which is a line between them, it's the distance from that chord to the hump of the circle, the arch of the circle. But it's not.
That would always be half.
No, I don't believe so. I can try and figure that out just to make sure. But let me look at that.
Depends on if there's a downward force or not. But move on.
Oh, boy, we'll get into that in a second. Anyway, so at 13 miles, I'm just punching this in real quick, and we'll put in 8 feet of observer height, even though they were at 3 feet and I was at about 4 feet. But let's put in 10. Let's give the globe as much as it needs here. 10 feet of, and then you can scroll all the way down now to find the bulge, and the bulge is 28.17. So you think that should be exactly half of the drop?
Yeah.
No, the drop is 112 feet, and the bulge is only 28. So just, it's not exactly half.
All right. Well, okay. Well, that clears that up for me then.
Right. That's the geometric drop is 112. It says geometric hidden is 55.
So basically when you're using, there's arguments on what the real numbers are, but using the bulge is definitely giving the globe every benefit of the doubt. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think giving them the refracted drop is giving them the most benefit of the doubt. The one that I think is just insane to think about is that when you're talking about all the observations I've seen Ranty Flat Earth do, or all the other observations when people are viewing things at long distances, what totally wrecks the entire globe idea is that there's a hump between those 2 locations. Because how the hell are you seeing across this hump? So anyway, it used to be right up top, and I showed that in my video. And since then, he's removed it and put it way down at the bottom. You have to scroll all the way down to you can find something that's called the sagitta, or bulge. It says is the amount of rise of the Earth's curve from a straight line connecting 2 points on the surface, which is the sagitta. It says r minus the square root 4 times r minus the distance times the distance divided by 2. That's if you want to know the exact math on that or how they come up with that. Anyway, so just to explain what I'm talking about, even with the 10-foot viewer height, which is 5 feet on one side, 5 on the other, 13 miles in between us, there is a bulge height of 28.17 feet. So if people don't know how tall it is, it's a 3-story building. So when I'm standing at the beach and I'm flashing the mirror, and on the other side they're observing those mirror flashes with a camera, somehow they're able to see over or through, or whatever you want to talk, a 3-story building, a 30-foot hump of water, a 30-foot bulge of water, which I think is insane. Anyway, I've said that before. We talked about the Monterey Bay observations, and as soon as we did, they removed that bulge from their curve calculator. You have to scroll way down to find it. It used to be up towards the top. So I mentioned that again on my show the other day. The very next day, there's now a little note at the bottom of the curve calculator, and this is what it says. Are you ready for this? It says, note, not accurate for observations over water very close to the horizon.
What does an observation over water very close to the horizon mean?
That's every observation that you'll ever make, ever. This is totally moving the goalposts, and this is the exact same thing that I had a conversation with these guys from the independent investigations group, because they just don't get it when they said, well, why don't you accept the, or they've said, I heard that you have a problem with the laser test. And I said, no, I don't have a problem with that. I understand your guys' argument that if somebody's shining a laser, and let's say it's the same situation, so we're talking 13 miles, somebody's got a laser and they're shooting it out over the water, and somebody on the other side says, I can see the laser, I can see the point. How are you doing that over this bulge? Well, I can kind of understand the argument, because if somebody's behind an obstruction, so let's say there's a car between me and somebody else, and they have a laser. If they're shining that laser just skimming the top of that car, if I'm on the other side, I can still see that laser. It's not obstructed for me because you're shooting it just over the top of the car. That makes sense. The problem for me, or the reason I think that they need to do these mirror observations, is because if somebody's on the other side of a car and they're shining the sun, reflecting the sun to me, I cannot see it if it's obstructed. There is no beam of light that gets shot off from the mirror that can skirt the top of the car and I can still see it. In order for me to see the mirror reflection, I have to have line of sight to that mirror. Mm-hmm. The second it's obstructed by anything, good night, Irene, you can't see that mirror. You can't see the reflection. They don't get that. They kept saying, well, that seems simple. We can do that test to see if that's true. Like, you're absolutely right. You can do that test. Go do it right now. Take somebody to the other side of some obstruction and have them shine a laser just over the top of it. You'll be able to see it from the other side. So that's why I was telling them that I know they wanted to go out and do some laser tests, these flat reality Earth explorers. They love shooting these lasers back and forth across the water, which I understand. I've done it before. We did it, Missa. Mm-hmm. You and I did it 4 miles. But I do see the globe position of that when they're saying, well, just because you're seeing that laser, it could be the laser right when it gets past the hump or the bulge. So the way to get around that is, I think, using a mirror. Mm-hmm. In order to see a reflection of the sun in a mirror, mm-hmm. you have to have line of sight mm-hmm. to that mirror. And I was drawing pictures and trying to show these guys, and all they kept saying is, well, they always want to go back to this. No, all light is the same, Jeran. Light from a reflection from a mirror is the same as the light from a laser. I'm like, no, you're absolutely wrong. Mm-hmm. It's just not right. When a laser is shooting out a beam of light, I think somebody could see that light as it passed over the curve and say, oh, I see the source of that light. Well, you can't really tell if that's the source mm-hmm. or if that's just a beam, because the beam stays really tight and coherent all the way across, and you could be seeing the point of light when it comes up over the hump. Again, I don't agree with that. I don't think that's what we're seeing. I think clearly that you are seeing the source of the light, but I understand the globe argument, and I think what puts it to bed is these mirror observations. So I couldn't wait for this independent investigations group to get out there and say, hey, yesterday, because I heard that they were coming on Sunday, Saturday we were out there, we got this 13-mile distance with 10 combined feet of observer height, and again, that pulls the bulge at 28.17 feet. So I couldn't wait for them to get there, and I drew it out on paper, and I said, how am I able to see this mirror reflection with a 28-foot hump in the middle of us? And they said, it's the same as your problem with the laser, that you're seeing that reflection happen at the top of the hump. And I said, no, that's not the way. I said, go have somebody stand behind an obstruction and try and flash a mirror at you. You can't see it. But they don't get it. And this is the problem that I have with them, is that no matter what, just like this now saying not accurate for observations over water very close to the horizon. Well, how close can you see if you're looking across land?
Yeah, what does it mean by close to the horizon? What is that? I don't get
That's
that.
exactly what the observations that we've all been making is. So now it's gotten to the point where, and this is what those guys were saying too. So I told them, I said, so you're telling me if we see 31 miles today, if we can see a mirror flash from 31 miles, you don't think that that's proof that we're seeing over flat water? And they said no. They think that the light that is reflected from that mirror is traveling up and over the hump, is existing inside that little zone of, if you want to call it atmosphere, that zone of refraction, whatever, and that's the actual flash we're seeing. And they just I couldn't get them to. So it's just funny to me. And I kind of told them, I said, well, whatever, you guys can believe whatever you want, because at this point, you'll never let us prove that the Earth is flat, no matter what it is. I mean, these guys believe that you can look out over long distances and basically see your own ass with a telescope if it was clear enough. That's what they believe. They believe that light bends to the point where, yeah, if something's way behind the curve, well, you can see it because you're actually looking through this zone where it's reflecting and you're able to see. And I said, well, then there's nothing that will ever prove it to you guys, period. And they didn't get that. And then we were showing them, I said, look, you can look across the water today, see that, refraction that's happening, see that reflection, that inferior mirage where we're seeing the doubling. And they would look through my camera at the infrared and see it. And they said, okay, yeah, we see that. And I go, that wasn't here yesterday, and we were able to see shore to shore. But today we can't see the shore on the other side because of this. They said, yeah, because there's a hump. They just don't get it. And I don't know how you can convince them. I don't know what you can do. Even if you can see 31 miles from shore to shore, they still wouldn't believe it. So what do we do, Dave?
I don't know. That's a great question, because they can always move the goalpost and make an excuse because they have to. Their world relies on it.
Right, exactly. I mean,
at some point, you just have to trust that you do have senses, God-given senses, I'll even say.
Right.
And at some point, you have to trust them.
My senses, not the men telling me that light is traveling. And it's just, I don't know how to explain it to people, but a mere reflection of the sun is much different than a laser beam. In the fact that you can, I've told this to 1,000 times to people, but just go out today in the sun or tomorrow, have somebody take a little bathroom mirror, have them get to where the sun is behind the observer and start flashing you with that bathroom mirror. So they're basically taking that mirror reflection, sending that light, and you're seeing the reflection. But the only reason that you can see that reflection is because you have line of sight to the mirror. The second that you obstruct that with anything, go stand a little bit behind a car and just duck down to the point where that car just covers that mirror, and immediately you will see no more reflection. And it doesn't matter, even if the person tries to send that little sunbeam just over the top of the car, you'll never see it. You have to see the mirror. That's what the reflection is. Well, they don't get that. And then have somebody take a laser and shine the laser over the top of the car or the obstruction, and guess what? From the other side, you will see it. You'll see the laser coming up over the top of the car. But they kept telling me, Jeran, it's the same thing. You don't understand light. The light that's reflected off the mirror is the same thing as the beam from the laser. I said, you guys are totally confused. And this is what they've done. They've already confused people and telling people that when we see a mountain across water, that really is light being sent to you. And I don't agree with that. I think that the reason you can see the mountain is because it's being illuminated by the sun's light. That's why you see it. And if you obstruct that mountain with anything, you no longer see it. You can't see things once they're obstructed. But a laser is much different. A laser is projecting a light. It's sending a light out and across that water. And I do think you can pick it up from different locations. And I tried to explain to them how a heliograph works and the way that they used them in the Army. And I said, the only reason these things worked is because you have to have line of sight. And they wouldn't buy it. And they did say, well, that's something we can test with the laser. We can test if it can be seen over an obstruction. Like, okay.
So there's two reasons why they will say that. One is because they're purposely trying to deceive for whatever reason. Or two is they truly, truly believe we live on a ball. Therefore, you will make up anything just to maintain that belief. If there's only one explanation that, light curves around the ball, so if you look far enough, you can see your own ass, that has to be the answer.
Right.
That has to be the answer.
And they're independent
because the Earth is a ball.
Their whole independent investigations group, their whole society, whatever you want to call it, would be a sham if it ever came out that the Earth was flat. Same thing with everything that we've learned about physics and all these science teachers, and that's why they have to hold on to it no matter what. They can't let it go. And Missa was right there. You saw it, right?
Yep.
I mean, she saw me flashing the mirror. These guys were on the phone at the same time. And every time I would flash, and a couple times I was testing them because I was like, they're just saying that. And I would purposely put the mirror down. So I would just turn it to it's facing the beach and wait. And they would say, oh, we're not seeing it anymore. We're not seeing it anymore. But yeah, I'm not flashing you.
Yeah.
So then I would tip it back up and start flashing. Okay, we're seeing it again. We're seeing it again.
It was very clear.
Very clear.
Did Miss Puppy see it?
Miss Puppy did not see it. She refused.
She was
the
too
first
low?
line of sight is everything's over the curve for her.
We always talk about that. When we're on walks with the dog, we can see there's things off in the distance that we can see. We may see a little bunny, running by in the field, and she won't see it. And the reason why is because it's behind the curve for her. That's the truth. She's so low to the ground that those things disappear quickly. She can't see it. The ground ramps up just like our ground ramps up, but it's a lot closer to her because she's down at the ground level.
Yeah.
It's not behind the curve. The angular size of the bunny is too small.
Correct. The joke is we always say it's behind the curve for her.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a joke.
Yeah. Well, obviously it's not behind the curve.
This is not a joking business, Jeran.
Sorry, my bad. How dare I? So we had a great time, but then again, the problem that happened on Sunday was that there was that inferior mirage right at 5:30 in the morning. I don't know what causes it. I thought that happened because of the heat.
Yeah.
But
unless it was already that hot outside.
Yeah, it must be something to do with the air that sits above the water because it kind of got burned off. Usually you would think of a reflection like that or an inferior mirage as appearing because of the heat, but really the heat burned that off throughout the day.
It was weird.
And you don't think that there's a possibility that they saw that you were going to prove the earth was flat, they chemtrailed the crap out of it or whatever they did to create their inferior mirage, and then they took down the internet at the exact time you were trying to go live?
Possibility.
I think they input this commercial right here so we wouldn't talk about it anymore, to be honest. Don't go anywhere, guys. You're listening to Jeranism RAW. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
The reviews for Extendivite are amazing. Here are some from Amazon. By Christine, great for heart palpitations. By Anne, before...
TFR. The Truth Frequency Radio.
Hi, welcome back. You are listening to Jeranism RAW. I appreciate you guys tuning in as you always do. Thanks so much. And also a big shout out to my patrons who make this channel, who make this radio show, who make everything that we do possible. So thank you guys so much. One thing I forgot to mention, we did listen to the latest Flat Earth podcast on the way down. It was a great show. And as we listened to that, Dave, I wanted to add something that you guys missed. There is actually a tier 3 that you guys can add. It's the $1 million tier that does include lunch with Jeran and Missa over Skype.
Really?
Yeah.
Who buys lunch?
I will even buy it.
You will even buy the lunch.
Yeah. Well, you can send me. You can reimburse me.
Yeah, from that million.
Excellent. I haven't had any takers on tier 1 or 2 yet, but maybe we'll get a tier 3. You never know.
Nobody on tier 1 yet?
No, but I am almost done making the remix of both podcasts where we explain the game, and then I have Paul's podcast and I have the ding number counter going.
Nice.
It's fantastic. It's so exciting.
Do you have a winner yet?
I'm getting there. It looked like it was going to be a blowout, but then there's a major comeback, but I'm not going to be a spoiler and tell you what happens.
Okay, no spoiler alerts. All right, great. We'll have to tune in to check that out. You're putting that together then. That should be
That'll
fun.
be up probably by tomorrow evening.
Right. So Dave said that they shut down my live stream somehow with the weather, or they put out their inferior mirage machine. It's all quite possible. The other thing that I noticed, and I guess this is a known thing now at this point, is I kept trying to go live between like 11 and I don't know if it was 1 or 2. And every time I would get on my phone and get YouTube started up, it would just say error, loading, error, something. Couldn't figure that out. And then I knew Bob was supposed to call me from Globebusters, and I was going to tune in. So 12:15 or so, I got ready for that. Kept trying to log in, kept trying to see what was going on with Globebusters, and they weren't on. So I was very confused. Then I heard, Dave, that there was some sort of outage.
There was
outage.
All of like Google, YouTube. I don't know if it was the whole country or not, but it was major areas. I couldn't get on. I was like, why? I was in a low service area. I was like, but I usually can stream something. Wouldn't work. Know what else was weird though is I can play mainstream YouTubes, but I couldn't play anything that I wanted to see.
Really?
Now I can't prove that. I was moving around, but it sure seemed like anything worthwhile was not playing, and anything propaganda-ish was playing.
Well, I know something was up because it would tell me that there was only 8 people watching live, and that may have been true. But it also would say, 14 thumbs up, 8 people watching live, and then somebody else that was there would be watching, and they would say, yeah, but there's 42 people in the chat. So I have absolute proof of that. Today on the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, I put Rodriguez's video making fun of NASA 2024. Did you see that? Right. Mm-hmm.
And so he had like 240 views. People had watched it, which is just is what it is. I put it up, and I could track how many people click on the notification. I had over 2,000 clicks on the notification, and guess what his view count went to from 240?
I don't know, 300.
No, 210.
Oh, geez, it went down. Yeah. Something was definitely up. I've never done a live stream, at least in the last year, and
that was today. Hold on, that was today. I'm not saying that had anything to do with the outage. I'm saying that YouTube not only hiding, not promoting, not notifying people of truth videos, they're screwing with the numbers.
Yeah, we're seeing it everywhere, and saw it yesterday. So I don't know what was up with that, but I've never had that few of live viewers. Maybe they just didn't care about the Salton Sea. I don't know. Maybe they already realized that there was the Mirage, and that we able to be live on the other, but they were able to record themselves, and they're right now loading that all onto a Google Drive, so we'll be able to share each other's views, and then I'll be able to put together a video at least showing the Saturday observation, and then showing what the difference Sunday when we had that inferior Mirage. So that's what's going on there. We do have a caller that we're going to go to right here, if I can bring it up on my Firefox. There we go. Let's go to this caller from the 780 area code. Are you there?
Hello?
Maybe?
Hello. How's everyone doing?
What's going on, Robbie? How are you?
Robbie Davidson from the Flat Earth Conference.
Woo!
That's right. It's a good stuff. You've been keeping pretty busy there, Jeran.
Yeah, I've been trying, just running around like crazy. Haven't talked to you in a few months. How you been?
I've been busy. I've been to New Zealand. I was trapped in that country for a while. We had a passport to issue. Water leaked on the passport on my son and my son's passport, and that was just a big mess. We weren't able to get out of the country for 2 weeks. We had to get a whole new passport issued. We had to drive 8 hours to a new city where the High Commission was for passports. It was just a big mess. And then not only that, they couldn't get us back to Canada. The furthest you could get us to was America. And then from America, we had to get to Canada. Really, really strange stuff. But we're back. Everyone's good. And then I got back after that whole ordeal and then headed off to the Truth Quest Calgary conference. And that was a fantastic time. Mark Sargent, Matt Long was there, many others, and we had a terrific time. So now I've got a few months before taking on the world in August, and obviously leading up to Dallas at FEIC 2019. So lots of exciting stuff. But the big announcement was today. I'm not sure if you heard, but Big Bear is coming to FEIC 2019. That's right. Owen Benjamin is confirmed, and he's coming to the Flat Earth International Conference in Dallas this November.
That is so awesome.
Really excited. He's
going to basically do a comedy presentation. Is that the plan?
Yeah. So the idea is, I want to, people are kind of joking a little bit, and I think there's going to be a little bit of redemption if I can kind of, in the first day, maybe just bring him on stage just to kind of introduce him, him say a couple words. But the idea is he is going to do a comedy show on the first evening of the conference. So on Thursday evening is when he will be doing his comedy show, after dinner.
He's going to be doing
that's the plan.
He's going to be doing a free-for-all, whatever he wants, his normal comedy show with Owen Benjamin Comedy, and everybody that's at the conference gets admission. Is that correct?
Absolutely, yeah. So all the ticket prices, it will be his shows included. Also, people that cannot come to Dallas, the live stream option that we have, that will include Owen's show, as well as all the other sessions and evening entertainment that we have planned this year.
Nice.
That is awesome.
Yeah, really, really exciting. It was good to finalize things with Owen and talk to him on the weekend, and it was really cool. I mean, he's a super busy guy, but I'll tell you get talking to him, he's exactly the same as he is on camera. He's just he is a serious man of integrity. I wrote up a little description, when I did the announcement today, the official announcement. I thought it summed it up really nice for Owen, but I said, Owen is a man of integrity, standing up for his beliefs and willing to ask the hard questions with his unique comedy style. Although controversial with his approach, it's refreshing that he's a man that will stand up for the truth no matter what the cost. And I'll tell you, Owen has really paid the price many, many ways, and he keeps on, moving forward. So I really respect him. And the beautiful thing about Owen, I think overall he's got respect with 95% of the Flat Earth community, which is phenomenal, for someone that really hasn't even 100% committed. But when David Weiss was on with him, I think that show really, really sells out a lot for a lot of people. I think everyone was in there that live stream.
The biggest.
You're a huge draw, but that was a big deal. That's for sure. When he finally did the first show, having you on and talking all out. But I just love his style. He's willing to be genuine and he's not afraid, and he'll take his time. But I'll tell you, I think Owen is definitely leaning more and more to not believing that we're on a spinning ball flying through space and seeing the ridiculous.
And I just want to go.
NASA.
I want to just because Owen's not here and we're talking about him, I want to say that Owen is not a flat earther or hasn't declared that he's a flat earther. We're all flat earthers, but he is coming to the conference, 1, to do a show, 2, because something screwed up with the ball, and he's coming to learn, listen, and meet people and do his comedy show. I'm sure by the end of the conference he's going to say he's a flat earther. That's just my opinion, though.
You guys remember back in 2015, you guys are going to remember this. Remember Rob Skiba? How long did it take him for him to finally admit? He would do show after show talking about all these amazing proofs and exposing all these lies, and at the end of the show he'd be like, oh, but I'm not a flat earther, right? It took him like 8 or 9 months to commit. So it's almost like, and then watching kind of Owen's journey, how he's like wrestling, and I think it's just authentic, it's raw, and it's going to be awesome. We're going to have some great laughs. He's going to rip into science and some stuff when it comes into, space and NASA. I mean, we had a pretty funny discussion about a few things, and I think it is going to go over incredibly well. Already the response has been phenomenal right across the board. Very few people have, tried to bring up the Logan connection or something like this. Most people are like, wow, Robbie might be actually see some redemption this year.
I want
to say this, though. I want to say this, though, just before, I want to make sure that a huge thanks goes to you, Dave, because you really orchestrated a lot behind the scenes. It made it possible. I mean, I wasn't able to connect with Owen if it wasn't for you. So huge thanks for, making it happen. I know we had talked about it early on, about the dream, how cool it would be, but, you really helped to make it all happen. So I appreciate it. Thanks so much,
As
Dave.
Mitchell from Australia says, I am a high caliber stalker, just like him.
Well, that's why I call you Dave.
Oh, well, you're one of, I think you're getting close to being one of his favorite Jews now. He just.
I am his second favorite Jew, second most trustworthy Jew.
You're the second favorite.
Man with small
I know, which is a huge deal when you get announced, when he's like trying to pick up names and he's just like, no, David Weiss. So he's funny, he's great, and even when you did the live stream with him, and he said, okay, we got to get this out of the way. We got to get the Jew thing. And you're like, Owen, you know more about Judaism than I do. He's like, okay, good, we're good, carry on. I thought that was really funny.
Well, I'm excited.
Really funny. It's great sense of humor. But what does Jeran think of the announcement? What does Jeran miss? What are you guys thinking about everything with the announcements?
Yeah, for me, I'm super excited. I mean, I don't know how anybody doesn't respect what Owen Benjamin's done. Just when you watch his videos and you see the at-home gardening and the supporting himself from home, maybe it's just me. Is that something that I would love to do? So I guess you can even say that I'm a little bit jealous of everything that he gets to do. His support for family, or at least his adherence to family, his attention to detail. He has all that time to research and does everything from home, and the way that he builds things on his own. And I don't know, he was a big inspiration for me as far as him quitting drinking for the summer, just things like that. And I think he's quit drinking altogether. But a lot of things like that I think are important for people to do, and to change the way that they live their life. They try to become more healthy. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. We love his comedy, and he's fun just to listen to. I mean,
he's real.
He's real.
Well, that's the thing. Comedy. I always say it's funny because it's true. Real comedy is true, and Owen is like one of the truest people comedians out there, and I just find his comedy hysterical and right on the money.
Yeah, no, I
let my wife hear him kind of for the first time, and she's not a big fan usually of, a lot of curse words and stuff, but she totally recognized, just how, raw, but how sincere, and just how he can get his point across, even with some crowd language. She even saw how amazing he is at being able to just have these important truths, talk about the importance of family, and, really building up the good things, the moral fabric of society, rather than all the crap that's tearing it down, So, no, I think it's great. He's excited. When we talked, I also want to mention that he was more than accommodating. When we started kind of talking, this was kind of my first time figuring out, what would Owen need, what would he want, how would this work? And really, he wanted to make it as accommodating as possible for the community. And he was great. He was absolutely, fantastic. And continuing to get to know Owen, it's a real honor, man. I can't wait to meet him. One thing I will say though is that there's a lot of circulation now about all these tall guys that are going to be hanging out in Dallas. Jeran, Bob, me, and Owen, because I believe, and I got to get confirmation. I just sent a text to Owen because I want to know for sure. But I believe he's taller than me, which would make him 6'8". I'm 6'7".
He's 6'8".
So it's going to be quite the So I'm 6'7". You got Jeran, Bob, me, and Owen walking around. It would be like towers. Just towers. It would just like, whoa, what's going on? But I said to Owen jokingly, I said, I said to Owen though, it's going to be nice to finally be able to look up to someone at the conference. It will be a first for me.
Cute. That's cute.
Yeah, Bob's probably 6'4". I'm 6'2", and David Weiss is 5'2". So to get us all.
Oh, not true. Not true.
I think that's.
I have been helping Owen in the background, been writing, giving him some material, and one of the things that I've been really pointing out to him is that you and Bob are going to be his number one targets in Flat Earth because you prove curvature and Bob proves spin, and I give him lots of material on that.
Yes, thank you for mentioning that on your podcast.
Oh no, look out! Yeah, look out for the roast of Jeran and Bob. Like that's the need. But no, I mean he's going to do an amazing job. And I mean it's just so funny when he starts ripping into the nonsense of NASA and space. And I mean I'm sure most of people who are listening have tuned in here and there. But if you were to weave all the times he's brought up space or the Earth and just incredible wisdom in how he's coming to this truth. Struggling with it, but also understanding that it's all kind of coming together. And he's like, man, I'm not buying it. So I think David said that, if he hasn't fully come out, it might be his official coming out at FEIC 19, but I guess we'll see.
I don't like forcing someone to say they're a flat earther. As long as they say there's a problem with the globe and I'm looking into it, that's all I want. But what I'm really excited about is Owen's going to be talking about this as time goes on his stream. He has lots of fans out in Texas and all over the place that they may buy tickets to the conference and come and see what it's all about. And also, to see Owen, it's a great deal. And, we'll have that's what I want. I want more non-flat earthers at the conference.
We will have more.
That'll be so fun.
I guarantee you this right now. With what I've seen today, we will have more. We're going to have more non-flat earthers at this conference than any other conference. I've already seen a lot, even in Owen groups on Facebook and stuff. People are saying, I'm going and talking. And I think the cool thing about it is because they respect Owen, they're going to take the subject matter a little bit more serious. And I want to go on the record like you did, say that too. It doesn't matter at the end of the day if someone's willing to, really question it. At the end of the day, it's not. At the end of the day, it's not like, I'm going to be disappointed if Owen doesn't commit. It's not about that. I'm happy to have him. He can just be raw and honest and genuine, and that's good enough for me. I'm not going to put any pressure, nor do I want to do that with anyone. But I'll tell you, he's definitely moving that direction, getting a lot of people talking to the song.
Robbie, do you have a warning on the website when people, non-flat earthers buying the ticket, warning them that when they leave the conference, they're going to be a flat earther in their whole life, and they can't come after you for any effects of that,
unless they work for Disney.
Maybe. Yeah. Well, I know that Owen was talking about having me on the live stream, but maybe if you could be on with Owen, maybe give that warning to all the bears. But like I said, I'm cool with people coming out and being honest. They just want to sit down and just say, hey, I want to take it in. I want to learn. I want to see what this is all about. That's cool. That's good enough for me. Someone that doesn't want to just laugh and ridicule it. You know what? I want to look into this. Some of these things are making sense. That's really cool because sometimes it takes 10 years. Some people take 10 minutes. We're all on different journeys to the truth.
Basically, if you really don't believe in Flat Earth, come to and you want to see Owen, come to the conference. Bring a notepad, take notes, and debunk every presentation you see, and then maybe you can wake us up to this water wall flying through space like a rocket.
Yeah, we're ready. We're ready for that.
And honestly, we're gonna have a Q&A there as well. And again, bring your questions. You know what I mean? That's the beautiful thing about Flat Earth is we're not afraid of questions. Ask any question. We want the questions. We want to be challenged. We want to grow together and learn from each other. So that's the really cool thing. Feel free to come, ask questions. Honestly, hopefully the people treat you well, even if you haven't fully committed. I think people will respect you for just coming out, and there must be something going on when this many people are starting to believe we're not a spinning ball flying through space. It's something that's going on. I mean, this exponential growth we're seeing. Just look at 2015 from now. What is it, like 7, 8 conferences? I mean, remember back in Raleigh, Jeran and Dave, I mean, it was like the one. Now there's like 9 or 10 conferences happening in 1 year. Jeran's going to be, over at Amsterdam. I'm going to be there as well. Also, I think you're up in Manchester.
People ask me, are you going to the conference? And my question is, which one? What's the date? You can't keep track of them.
That's great, man. That's great. I mean, there's all flavors, and they're going to do different things. Yeah, cool, man. I like to be supportive of other organizers, and like, that Truth Press Calgary that we just did here after New Zealand. Someone went to the California one at Question Everything. I want to go back. I want to go back and just create an event. And that event turned into a conference. And all of a sudden, Mark started there, and Matt Long, a whole bunch of others. And that's the amazing thing. Anybody, there'll be a ton of support. If you want to do something in your city, you want to do this. Reach out. Mark Sargent's prime example. You want to do something, he'll promote it. He'll promote it. People get people on board. Kind of like Zoom with people. Get people on board. Things start growing. People go over the Zoom Truth.
Yeah, that's actually just a heads up. We're hopefully launching that. That's actually tomorrow. Just a heads up. Hopefully launching that. Possibly tomorrow. It's got a whole new look. Another day, but I'm pretty sure we're going to launch it tomorrow. It's tomorrow. Sort of like a whole new look. Basically, sort of like whatever location you want, how specific you want. You can friend people. You can put in whatever location you want, how specific you want. Real, unfortunately, it's going to be real. We've outgrown to the fantastic Mark Sargent's ability to people how to meet up. Then Mark puts out a video. Well, to people how to meet up. Mark puts out a video. So you want to meet up? We've outgrown create an event. Now we're going to go to people. You want to meet up in the area, and nobody will miss it. It'll go to all the people in the area, and nobody will miss it. Fantastic.
I try to do better each year. I'm really it's reality, learning from mistakes each year, from things that are together, and learning from mistakes. Never come together an event with Dallas. Never get because I'm definitely with Dallas. I'm excited. I'm excited. One thing. Some more incredible announcements.
I heard a rumor, Robbie.
The speakers.
Is it true that you're having? I heard a rumor, Robbie. Come. Is it true that you're having Joe Rogan?
Whatever. So I don't believe it's